Hello, it's Charles Fockaert, January 20th, 2018. A great time to be alive. Lots of stuff happening, as you all know. I want to thank you for watching, subscribing, supporting this channel, with a special thanks to TW in Florida and AY, and I'm not sure where you're from, but I want to thank you, and I will put the support to good use. This video is on Monika Schaefer, and I'm going to give you some email addresses here in a moment where you can send some emails to the appropriate individuals, and we'll talk about that a little more in a minute. But it's also about Anthony Hall, a professor in Lethbridge, Alberta, who lost his professorship there at the university, but then was reinstated, and we're going to get to that here. And because the reason I bring this up is because Brith is taking credit for the imprisonment of Monika Schaefer in Germany, and Brith was also responsible for the loss of the professorship, the position as a professor at the university there in Lethbridge. They took credit for that. And then we're going to tie this in here at the end here to Leo Frank. A lot of you maybe have not heard about Leo Frank, and that was back in the early 1900s at the pencil factory in Atlanta, Georgia. So let's go have a look first here at Anthony Hall, shall we? So here we have it. We're at the Brith Canada website, and Holocaust denying Professor Anthony Hall suspended without pay. Scroll down here. Let's just read this a little bit here. Brith Canada is commending the University of Lethbridge for officially suspending Anthony Hall, a globalization studies professor who vocally supports Holocaust denial and conspiracy theories, blaming the September 11, 2001 terror attacks on Israel. And to that, Mr. Hall, I say hooray, hooray, hooray. There's a man with some courage. A video posted to YouTube this morning by Hall outlines that he has been suspended from his position without pay as the university prepares termination procedures. And quote, "It is gratifying to see that the university has taken decisive action and has chosen to protect their students and their reputation as an institute of higher learning," said Brith Canada CEO Michael Mostyn. And there's a video. I can't play it because I'm not online. But let's go back here. They always pretend that they're protecting us, don't they? Why can't the students make up their own minds and let the teacher just put out his ideas there? And by the way, Israel did do September the 11th terror attacks, all right? And the Holocaust didn't happen, but hey, minor facts, huh? In the video, Hall accuses Brith of, quote, taking control of the University of Lethbridge administration and of advancing its own political agenda. Hall has previously charged Brith with abusing, quote, Jewish victimhood and of policing citizens for supposed thought crimes and speech crimes. Hall also suggests that his suspension from the university is somehow an assault on tenured professors across. Not somehow, it is. Blaming the organized Zionist lobby of breaking down the structural basis for free and open discussion on campus. And then this author from B'nai Brith says, this is not an attack on academic freedom. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. But rather a response to falsehoods being presented as academia. Amanda Hoffman, director of B'nai Brith's League for Human Rights. Quote, tenured professors should all be concerned with what Hall has done in his capacity as a member of the University of Lethbridge faculty. He has used his credentials as an educator to establish the legitimacy of the theories he espouses. Well, that's exactly what B'nai Brith does. They use their, quote, credentials as one of the, if not the oldest Jewish organization, and they use their leverage, they use their status as a Jewish organization, a well-known Jewish organization, and they use their propaganda that has brainwashed so many people to give legitimacy to the theories that they espouse. For instance, that 9/11 was pulled off by 19 Arabs with box cutters, and that the holocaust actually happened. And then a year later, see, folks, it takes a while, but we can win these. Holocaust-denying professor back in classroom thanks to government of Alberta. Lethbridge, B'nai Brith Canada is outraged that Professor Anthony Hall has returned to work at the University of Lethbridge after he was suspended for promoting anti-Semitism in October 2016. I'm going to skip down here. Premier Notley and her government bear direct responsibility for placing a discredited conspiracy theorist back in a university. You know how they love to use those terms, conspiracy theorist, said Michael Mostyn, Chief Executive Officer of B'nai Brith Canada. Quote, we repeatedly warn the government the likely outcome of its action, but they sadly choose to ignore our warnings. And that's what we need to do more of. We need to refuse, or we need to choose to ignore their warnings and allow the university students to make up their own minds. Isn't that why they go to college? Isn't that why they go to learn? And instead of brainwashing and programming, they really get an education. And it goes on here. Despite this setback, we expect the University of Lethbridge to continue fighting anti-Semitism on campus and to do whatever it takes to ensure that Hall has no podium for his, quote, unhinged anti-Semitic nonsense. And I want to draw your attention here. In 2016, Hall came under fire for teaching students that Israel was responsible for 9/11 terrorist attacks and for producing Holocaust denial videos with German-Canadian neo-Nazi, they got to put that label on there, neo-Nazi Alfred Schaefer. So that's the brother of Monika Schaefer. And one more little point here. Hall became the center of a national controversy after his Facebook friend posted an image calling to, quote, kill all Jews now on his Facebook wall. Well, Anthony Hall wasn't the one who posted that, so why is he getting blamed for it? But anyway, he's back, and this was in November 2017. See, folks, it does pay off. We can fight these people, and they're not going to win. I think the tide's beginning to turn, and I think they made a mistake by putting Monika Schaefer in the German gulag there in Munich. So I'm going to give you the email addresses here in a minute, but before I do that, I want to mention Leo Frank. I'm not going to go into it here very much, but Leo Frank was a Jew who worked at a pencil factory, and there was a young girl there they hired back in the early 1900s. They hired children to work in the factories, and Mary Fagan was murdered. And I would encourage you to look into that. And the men at that time, they weren't cucks. And even though the defense for this Jew, Leo Frank, went all the way to the United States Supreme Court, they lost all the way. And that was when the courts weren't as corrupt as they are now. And but the governor of Atlanta commuted the sentence from death to life imprisonment, but the men of the town went into the jail. They grabbed Leo Frank. They went to the hometown of Mary Fagan in Marietta, Georgia, and they lynched him. And the quote historians and all the others want us to believe that he wasn't guilty, but the men who actually went to the trial and sat through the entire court cases, and remember, he went all the way to the Supreme Court, and he lost. And I bring that up because he was a director in 1912 of the B'nai Brith. That's the kind of people these people have as their leaders. Okay, now it's my understanding these are the contact emails for these respective individuals. And I'll scroll down here and give you a chance to have a look at them. It won't take very long, won't take up much of your time to get an email out to these individuals. You can make a copy of the email and then send that email to each one of these individuals if you want. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm thinking about something like this. I'm an American and I would like to travel to Germany, but I understand you put people into prison for what they think. And I just want to know, if I show up there in Germany, are you going to arrest me and put me in prison? Or something like this. I understand you don't like people who can think for themselves and don't agree with the Jews on the Holocaust. And I was wondering or how long are you going to hold Monika Schaefer for her views there in your prison? You know, be polite, be kind, kind of be creative, and let them start thinking. I like to ask them questions like, how long are you going to keep Monika Schaefer in prison for her opinion? Or do you think the world is now better off because you put Monika Schaefer there in your prison in Munich? If I decide to come to Germany and I don't believe in the Holocaust, are you going to put me in prison? You know, be creative. Anyway, I think we're going to win this one, folks. I think they're going to be embarrassed if enough of us take action. See, there's a lot of people that like to complain and whine and bitch and moan. And then when they have a chance to actually take action, they don't do it. A lot of people will go vote. You know how well that works out. And we should flood these people's inboxes with our emails. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for supporting this video. And may the grace of God, the Father of the Anglo-Saxon, Scandinavian, Germanic, Celtic, the South Africans, the Canadians, the Australians, the New Zealanders, and if I forgot anyone, I don't mean to, may His grace be upon us all, because we certainly need it. See you.